Well, welcome to my 20,000 subs video, Ask Me Anything, but King of Thieves questions. So here are your questions. There have been an awful lot. Let's see. How many times per day are you playing King of Thieves? That's a King of Thieves question. Do you like squirrels? I actually have some of my balcony and I bought them walnuts. They're red ones because the European ones, we don't have grey squirrels in Europe. White or wheat bread? I actually like white bread better, but I recently switched because I've become too fat in Corona times. Have other people told you before that you shouldn't do YouTube because you're too old? Do you surprise many people with your age here on YouTube? Well, I'm hiding my age on YouTube, that's why I'm using that bunny as an avatar. I heard that a lot of times when people saw me. It's like, hey, why do you play games? You're old. Well, I've started playing games when I was 10 years old, maybe. And I've been playing computer games ever since, so this is what I do and what I enjoy. And if you're 10 or 12 now and somebody told you, you must not play computer games once you're 20 years older, then you probably wouldn't believe them. It's just part of you and what you enjoy. Never stop what you enjoy. What does G3CD stand for? Yeah, I get that a lot. Well, it's a long story. G3 was the first laptop I bought new. That was in 1998. It was terribly expensive. I was working freelance at the time and I was really proud of that. I was sitting in a cafe with some investment bankers next to me and they were boasting about their jobs. And I thought, well, but I still have a 10 times faster laptop in my backpack here and I don't look like it. CD is short for Captain Dirty. This is based on a computer game again. It's called Sundog on the Apple II. Google that, Apple II, Sundog. It's like Elite 2. In Sundog you could make most of the money by dealing with trucks or slaves. And because I wanted to make a lot of money, I did that and thought, well, that's a dirty business, let's call my Captain Dirty. I then later used that name when playing a play-by-mail game where you send in your moves for your spaceship by mail and then you get the results by mail back from the company running a central computer. And I was the first pirate guild leader in that game. And that's quite funny because that was actually what led me more or less to my current job. I'm doing advertising and I did advertisements for my pirate guild at that time all the time. Won't you join? It was called the Club of the Friends of the Miasma. Miasma is these strangers and the Miasma, the aliens, the strangers, the not us, we are almost eradicated humankind. And everybody was always boasting about, oh well, my commander already fought the miasma like 1,000 years ago and my family is so great, and I couldn't stand this, so I founded the Club of the Friends of the Miasma and did advertising for it. Won't you invite a friend from the miasma for Christmas, because they're lonely too. And I did that for something like 2 years and it was so successful that I thought, well, maybe start a career in advertising. And that's how it all started. Your age? Well, I won't tell you because of the reasons I just told you. Where do you live? I live in Germany. How long have you been on YouTube and how much longer are you going to continue it? How much longer? Well, probably until I die. How long have you been on YouTube? For something like 10 years? Or 12? Well, the reason I'm on YouTube, I saw Lewis and Honeydew from the Yogscast.
Hooray! Minecraft! God, it's terribly snowy. What on earth happened here?
And they're terrible at games, but it's very funny to watch them. And there were times where they made 8,500 euros a day by being bad at games. And I thought, well, I want to have 8,500 euros per day too by being bad at games. And that's why I started my channel. Well, not as entertaining as Honeydew. I'm good at explaining things, which is why I'm doing a lot of tutorials, but I think there's a niche for everybody on YouTube. I enjoy it, and 20,000 of you do too. Why do you just play King of Thieves? Well, actually that's a King of Thieves question, but I'll answer it nevertheless. King of Thieves were the first videos that actually gained any views, and even now my King of Thieves videos on average gain 10 times as much views as anything else. So that's the answer. I started playing other games, but I'm gradually increasing the content there. I wanted to start playing PlayStation 5 games, which has been released 4 months ago, but well, I don't know where you can buy one. Why is your profile picture Minecraft? Oh, that's another good question. Actually, whenever I play a computer game, I like to play girls, because I much prefer looking for hours on a girl's bum than on some guy's broad shoulders. So my Minecraft character was a girl, and I started playing Minecraft on YouTube, and that's why it's still a Minecraft character. I actually asked an artist to do a icon about it, which isn't Minecraft, but she was too busy and she couldn't do it. Do you know any languages other than English? Well, German is my mother tongue. Then I had French at school for 5 years. Since Dutch is basically a mixture between very old German and English, I understand Dutch pretty well. I started with Russian once, but basically the only thing I can say is da and хорошо, which is usually enough when you date a Russian woman. What is your hobby? Yeah, there were other questions about my hobbies. Well, I like climbing. I couldn't do it for a year now because of Corona. I wanted to go to a climbing garden, but they were always fully booked, so I couldn't do it. I tried climbing outside, but then I hurt my shoulder and couldn't do anything for 6 months. I'm pretty good at rollerblading. I've applied to become a referee in roller derby, which is a game only played by, well, girls with full body tattoos. And I actually applied to become a referee and went to a rookie training, but I couldn't keep that up because I was working in another city and I couldn't go to the training on a regular basis. And what else? I just bought a keyboard and I want to start doing music. Well, actually a keyboard and a Make Noise Ocos, and I'll probably get a Nordstrom 3P as well. I would like a Pulsar 23, which is from Russia again, but I can't afford it yet. You're probably going to see some of the music stuff in the future, if I'm any good at it. What is your favorite color? No idea. I wear dark blue a lot, light green and red. Do you have pets, and if so, what pets do you have and what are their names? I used to have a pet when I was a child who was a turtle. It was terribly boring, but it was actually the only thing I could afford. I always wanted a cat.
How are you? I hope you had a good day today.
But as I was working freelance a lot and in other cities, I couldn't really care about it. Now with Corona and working from home, I'm really considering getting a cat. Do you have any other ways to get money? I'm guessing YouTube isn't your main source of money. YouTube doesn't make me... Well, YouTube makes me very little money by now. But for example, these headphones, for the money I get from YouTube a month, I couldn't afford the cable of the headphones. So I'm investing a lot more money into my YouTube channel than I'll ever get back. Do you believe in God? Why or why not? I'm not quite sure. At the time I was thinking, if there's a God, it's like a little child playing with ants. And I'm one of them, and the child wants to tease me and see how I come across obstacles. So I wasn't very fond of God. I was recently dating a Protestant priest, and that's when I learned that I was brought up, well, female priest. That's when I learned that I was actually brought up in a very Catholic way. So they're like Christian principles that I believe in, like being good and kind to others, helping other people. I don't know, maybe it's more important to have a good heart than have a good God. Maybe that's what religion is about, organizing the well-being of a large group of people, if not humankind. You have a website. How did you get into web development? What's the story behind how you made your website? I wish I could say my website was sponsored by Squarespace, because it's hosted by Squarespace. So you actually don't need to know anything about web development. But actually I make a living of being good at doing website concepts. So I started in advertising, and even at that time my internet connection was faster than the connection of the agency I was working for. So in advertising I did concepts for, well, for example, Uncle Ben's and Burger King. I worked for international ad agencies. I even won a Cannes Lion once. And later on I did concepts for YouTube channels. So when you're doing concepts for social media, it helps a lot when your YouTube channels is like 10 times bigger than your clients. This gives you some kind of credibility. Yeah, and today I'm making a living doing concepts. Basically, I'm trying to make websites and apps so easy that my mom could use them. I did that, for example, for Audi. How do you turn your mobile phone into a car key? The answer is, of course, you wouldn't, because it isn't safe enough. But if you did, does it work like with Apple? Like you have one license and it works for a whole family with 4 or 5 people, and once a year just renews by charging your credit card? Or does it work like Windows, where you get a pop-up whether you want to change the background color of your shop experience, and whether you want to buy another Office 365 license or maybe an Xbox? The Apple experience is like, do you want to buy that? Yes. And then you just click one giant yes button. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making things really easy and idiot-proof. Not that my mom is an idiot, but she's not very good with computer things. What songs do you like? Well, all kinds of songs. Well, actually, let's open iTunes and see what's recently added. So it's Iggy Azalea, Cream, then David Fergie Ferguson from the soundtrack of Red Dead Redemption, then Stabat Mater from Arvo Pärt, which is classical, Prater Meinhof, which is a German band, then This Mortal Coil, It'll End in Tears, We by Camille, then from Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever, The French Press, Case Choice Live by Case Choice, Rules by Civic Civic, then Chicks on Speed,
Kaltes, klares Wasser.
Robin, Don't Fucking Tell Me What to Do. Which leads us to the next question: why do you curse so much? Well, that was the song title, totally not my fault. I kinda learned English with listening a lot to Radio Luxembourg, so this is why I sound like somebody from Liverpool. And for the English people, it's pretty normal to curse on television. So over here in Europe, we don't censor stuff like, well, don't listen to it, stuff like or which isn't really bad, but we're censoring violence and hate speech. So I much rather prefer that. So I'll still curse from time to time, especially when being bad at games and dying a lot. Oh, this is an interesting question. Do you think anybody has a reasonable chance of getting successful on YouTube or other social media platforms? Well, I think it's way harder now, especially But let's put it the other way around. It's way harder now because people are used to a certain professionalism. So if your sound is bad or your video is fuzzy, that was okay 10 years ago, even for huge channels. Nowadays, you won't get any followers. So everything has to look and sound pretty much perfect. So I think you have to look more professional and put more effort in it, especially since there are so much more people today trying to make a living or get into social media. If you ask any 15-year-old kid today, what do you want to do in the future? Oh, I want to become an influencer. Yeah, fuck you. This guy's Brad asks, do you like cheese? I don't hate it, but I don't fancy it either, really. Okay, here's some personal questions. Are you married? If so, for how long, and how old is your son? I've never been married. The longest relationship I was in was for 8 years, and then it turned out she was an asshole. I have a son who's 19, and I was with his mom for 3.5 years, and then we split up. Can you make a Discord server, and also can you please make vlogs? Actually, I don't get out much these days, as pretty much everybody. We're quarantined in lockdown, so I think vlogs would be pretty boring, like get up, do some work, edit a YouTube video, and that's pretty much it. Day in, day out. And even in normal times, my daily life isn't that interesting, so I would want everybody to know about it. I'm not important. And will you ever open a Discord server? Well, I might. I'm not quite sure about the administration. I don't want to erase spam comments all day, like at times I do on YouTube. Your favorite food? I like Asian food a lot, like a pho bo. Also like the usual stuff, I'd say. There's an excellent French restaurant in town which serves fish. I like that a lot. I like beef roulade a lot. I can eat noodles pretty much all day. What education do you have? Well, I went to high school, and that's pretty much it. I started working in advertising when I was in my early 20s. So back then, you couldn't study what I was doing. Today, you can study pretty much everything. But that's it. Well, actually, speaking of education, for example, I had a musical education. We had a school band, and I was playing a baritone horn. And one of my teachers was playing in a jazz big band, and the other one was playing at the opera. So when I was 12 years old, I was listening to Madness, Our House in the Middle of the Street, and also Beethoven. I'm pretty curious though. I still want to learn a lot, and at times I do things that I'm not familiar with just for trying that out. I looked back on your videos and saw you broke your ankle and got arthritis from that. I just want to ask you, are you okay, and is it better? Yeah, it's a lot better. I still can't run marathons. I'd love to, I once did actually, but that's pretty much over. I can still roller skate and I can climb. And I was invited to become a polo player once, and my doctor said maybe I should try something else, maybe try curling. Do you watch other YouTubers? If yes, what are some of your favorites? Actually, let's check my YouTube. Who have I subscribed? I've subscribed Zips from the Yogscast. I've subscribed the Yogscast themselves, Angry Tom. Then for some music channels like Rick Beato and Guy Mitchellmore. Pretty much everybody from Hermitcraft. Mambo Jumbo, I like the Redstone stuff, and Korean does an awesome job. He's really funny. Oh yeah, and Aliens Rock, he does a lot of puzzle games, and I started playing some puzzle games he did previously. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and the last question for today then probably, how would you feel if I named my kid G3CD? Well, you're weird, you're insane, crazy person. Don't do it. But I guess that's all for now. That has been 120 comments. Thanks for commenting that much. Thanks for 20,000 subs. I hope I reach 100,000 subs soon. We'll see. Thanks.